Hi, everybody. Jean McDonald here with Transition Tip Tuesday. And for this week's tip, I want to explore our search for meaning in life and meaning in both our tough transitions as well as meaning in our daily lives. We seek that. Now, my stepson recently reread Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, a classic. If you haven't read it, it's important to, and it's inspiring me to reread it. But before I got a chance to reread it, I found some wonderful tips on how to search for meaning in the Caregiver Help Book. And this is a workbook that we are using currently in our Powerful Tools for Caregivers class that we're doing locally here in Port Angeles, Washington. But the search for meaning in this book mentions that it's a conscious choice, and there are ways to stimulate this search. First of all, ask yourself questions. Questions like, what am I to learn from this? Questions like, what good can come from this? Am I a better person now? These types of questions can help you open up possibilities for finding meaning in what's occurring in your life. Number two, reflect. Periods of quiet reflection, especially after a difficult time, are important and offer opportunities to learn from the experience. Sometimes we just blast through life without ever taking that time to just sit and reflect. That's where the meditation, contemplation, prayer can come into play when we are looking for meaning in our lives. Number three, talk with a trusted person. Whether this person's a counselor, religious advisor, or friend, sharing can help clarify your thoughts and feelings. As you tell your story, it often takes on meaning. Sometimes we find that when we supposedly dump on a friend, as we tell our story, it's almost like we're hearing it for ourselves for the first time, and we hear what's actually happening. The fourth tip is to write. This is also a way to clarify that thinking. It can bring out your thoughts, your feelings, especially if you write freely, spontaneously. It's a way to talk to yourself. It's a way to clear it out of your mind and record it somewhere so that your mind can take a breath. And then when you go back to rereading your journal over time, you can start to understand where you were at that time and where you are now. And you can see what changes have or have not occurred and find new understanding and meaning in that. The last tip is seek spiritual renewal. And this is important, especially when you're facing difficult times. And in the case of caregivers, many caregivers report that faith and prayer help them to find comfort, purpose, and meaning. It may be that even when you feel anger because of suffering and sorrow, your need for meaning becomes the greatest. So it's hopeful to believe that, as Viktor Frankl said, that you can find meaning in difficult and painful experiences. There's a quote in this caregiver book from Virginia Satir. Life is not the way it's supposed to be. It's the way it is. The way you cope with it is what makes the difference. I think I have one message, one thing before I die that most of the world would know. It would be that the event does not determine how to respond to the event. That is purely a personal matter. The way in which we respond will direct and influence the event even more than the event itself. Thank you for listening today. And we continue to do caregiver support in the Port Angeles area and hopefully expanding that out. For more information on me and what I do in the area, you can go to carewithoutdespair.com or jeanmcdonald.com. I'm still working on that other website. So I appreciate your time and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.